Hope you are staying warm on this Friday. Let's get right to our top story as we learn that about 800,000 people who enrolled in Obamacare will be forced to wait to file their tax returns. Welcome to Happening Now. I'm John Scott.
Tax season is rough enough, isn't it?
It is.
Already? Hi, everybody. I'm Jenna Lee. The CMS admitting that they gave the wrong tax information, putting in information with this year's pricing for last year's returns. California also admitting they made a similar error in the state exchange, bringing the number of Americans affected to nearly 1 million. The revelation coming days after the president touted a successful enrollment season with more than 11 million new enrollees in the federal exchanges. Peter Ducey's live in Washington with the latest on our lead story today. Peter?
And Jenna, the big problem for 800,000 enrollees is that they received those faulty forms. That means about 50,000 people who used the wrong numbers to fill out this year's tax return are going to have to do it again. And another 750,000 people are being told by the feds they should wait to file. Now, this specifically impacts people who signed up for the second cheapest silver level plans, which is about 1 out of every 14 people who enrolled before the deadline. And the reaction from Republican lawmakers has been harsh, like Congresswoman Diane Black, who writes about refunds now being delayed. She says this is beyond embarrassing for President Obama and is an unfair blow to taxpayers who are once again left holding the bag for this administration's incompetence. We saw President Obama speak about an hour after this news broke, but he had a much more positive attitude.
We've extended the security and fundamental right to affordable, accessible health care to more than 10 million uninsured Americans.
Another huge healthcare headline today. Last week's deadline to enroll wasn't much of a deadline because it was announced today there will be a special enrollment period for people who didn't sign up because they didn't realize that having no coverage would get them fined. And to that point, there is new analysis from the Urban Institute that reveals 4 out of every 10 uninsured Americans are oblivious that there's any kind of a penalty. Now, as for how these forms got so messed up, I was emailing with a spokesman for CMS, and all he wrote back is they're looking into it. Jenna.
All right. Well, we'll wait to hear more. Peter, thank you.
So as you just heard from Peter, those enrollees will now have to get adjusted tax forms after yet another online black eye for Obamacare and healthcare.gov. Let's talk about it with David Catanese, senior politics writer for U.S. News and World Report. So we've got about 1 million people who are going to have to wait to get their tax refunds if they've already filed them, and about 50,000 already have filed their returns. They are going to have to refile them. That's basically 1 out of 10 of the people who have signed up for Obamacare or who are newly covered under Obamacare. Not exactly a great track record, David.
No, and it's going to leave bad taste in more people's mouth around a trying time of year, tax season, a time of year that most people don't like to begin with. You know, looking at the government website, though, they said they are going to contact everyone that has been affected. Again, I guess it's about 1 million people right now. That number could grow higher. We're not sure. You know, by phone or email. And they're also telling people to hold off on filing taxes. But in listening to your previous report, when people are confused about the penalties involved for Obamacare, are they going to be able to even know to hold off? And what are the repercussions if they don't hold off and continue to file their taxes? Bottom line is it's another headache and another kink in the Obamacare system that the administration is going to have to deal with. Not the biggest kink, probably, that they've had, given the website problems they went through all of last year, but not a promising one to the start of another year when they're really trying to get this program implemented.
Yeah, and talking about repercussions, I wonder what the repercussions are for whoever ultimately was responsible for this mistake. I mean, if Amazon.com or Walmart or, you know, some major American company screwed things up for this many people, almost, well, 1 million people if you add in the California numbers, there would be heads rolling. But at government, that never seems to happen. I'm guessing nobody's really going to pay a price for this.
Well, I think you're going to see Republicans seize on this, and the chairs of the oversight and investigative committees that have been looking into the Obamacare problems previously are going to be on this. precisely because it's about taxes, and people don't like taxes. And when they're going to be, when their refund is going to be delayed or it's the wrong amount, that is going to get people's attention. And I think you will probably see at least Republicans try to hold some level of accountability because of the potency of the tax issue. And look, this is money coming into people's pockets. People budget on what they're going to do for maybe a vacation or the rest of the year based on their tax refund. So this is real life stuff, and that's why I think you will see an attempt by Republicans to try to hold Democrats and the Obama administration in particular accountable.
And then in order to get you to take your medicine, the government announces that you're going to get penalized if you don't sign up for an Obamacare plan. Bunch of people didn't sign up, and the government says, oh, you didn't know you were going to get penalized through your taxes. We will simply extend the window and give you more time to sign up.
This has been the problem from the beginning with the penalty phase of Obamacare. Were they ever going to really implement it? And we've seen them draw sort of a red line, to take a metaphor, a different metaphor, and keep moving that red line, saying now you're going to be penalized. You had to be signed up a year ago. You were going to get penalized. They kept moving the penalty. Now there's a new open enrollment period. And it just sort of shows, well, if you're out there and you don't want to sign up, hey, why will I have to sign up now? Why will this be the last period that I need to sign up? When you keep moving that line, it really takes away the power of the penalty in the first place.
David Catanese, U.S. News. David, have a good weekend. Thank you.
Thanks, John.